everybody. We're going to do some crafts now for guides and rangers, young leaders, that maybe young leaders can adapt and share with the younger sections. So we're going to start with our milk bottle elephant. Here's the worksheet, and these are all available. You can see on there that there's a picture of Sangam, which is the WAGGGS World Centre in India. Sangam symbol is also there. Perhaps you could find out a little bit more about Sangam when you've done the craft. I don't mind if you do an Indian or an African elephant, it doesn't matter, but you need to start with a milk bottle, one of these plastic milk bottles that we put in the recycling or we use for all sorts of things to make things out of. Now, it's important that you have the right sort of milk bottle. This one, if you notice, the handle is on the corner of the bottle, whereas this one is on the side of the bottle. Now, if you use that one, which you can, the legs will be, of your elephant, will be on the wrong sides, really. You'll be a bit lopsided, okay? So you really need one of these. And you can see I've marked round where it's got to be cut. And that is on the worksheet. It shows you here in this picture exactly what you've got to draw. So I've just drawn round where it's got to go. Now I'm starting with a sharp pair of scissors. Be careful, but you won't cut them into you because you're going to stab the milk bottle. So we're going to stab a hole, and then taking a pair of scissors, we're going to cut round that line that you've done. Now I find it easier to cut all the way around first. Cut the top off. There we go. And cut the handle, and you get left with that. Excellent watering can if you want to use that, or we're going to use that later for something else. So keep that on one side. So you get left with this, all right? And then we're going to cut the 4 U shapes, arch shapes out of there to produce the legs. Okay, so just work your way round and cut out those 4 U shapes. And then we're going to decorate him. This one's a little bit tricky because it's under the handle, or the trunk as it's going to be. So go partly from that side and then partly from the other side and join up. There you are, those 4 U shapes, and you end up with that, which is your elephant. Okay, and he'll stand up nicely. All right, now I'll leave the cap on when I'm doing them. And then you can decorate them however you want to. So on this one, which is a bigger milk bottle, this was the litre one, this is the 2 litre one, but I've put some punched out flowers, some sequins, a couple of googly eyes on the front to bring him alive, and then I've put a pipe cleaner through the end there to make him a tail. Threaded some beads on. And inside, you might just be able to see, I've put a bead there as well, just to stop it pulling out. All right. Now you can draw ears on if you want to, small or large, to make him an African or an Indian elephant. So he could have come from Kusafari, or he could have come from Sangam. Enjoy making your elephant. I have also put on there, nearly forgot, some permanent marker, just to accentuate the hooves. Okay, enjoy. Happy Thinking Day. We're going to move on now to Pax Lodge, the nearest of our world centres that's situated in London. Here's the worksheet. In England, we're famous for our red telephone boxes. But you could make this into a Doctor Who TARDIS if you really want to. So you can change it as you want. The bottom of the milk carton that we used for our elephant, we're going to use now to make our telephone box. Now you can use this for all sorts of things. It's an excellent watering can. You can use the spout, or you could plant it up with some herbs, put some holes in the bottom as drainage, put some herbs in, and you've got an instant watering point. But what we're going to do is we're going to chop the top off to make it so that it's smooth on the top. Okay, and then I've made a mixture of some PVA glue and just a little bit of water. I'm going to take my brush. You haven't got to be careful with this, all right? You can see where I've started. You need to splodge on the glue and a little bit, just a little bit inside. Pick up the tissue, the little squares of red tissue, and plonk them on the top, and you can use your brush to almost varnish over the top. So stick the pieces on, little bit of glue on the top. You don't need to go mad, and then turn that over. See, I'm not using my hands at all there, so you needn't get messy. You can put that over the top and just work your way around. Doesn't have to be really exact, because as you can see, I'm just splodging the glue on like that. Taking a piece of tissue and slapping it on, and then a little bit of glue over the top. Doesn't matter if it comes out a little bit crinkly, don't worry. I haven't done the bottom. I'm just doing round all four sides. And get it as neat as you can. And keep working your way round the bottle just to stick those bits of red tissue paper on. Now, if you haven't got tissue paper, don't worry, use anything red. You could even paint it if you wanted to. Anything that you've got. Okay, you got the idea now. All right, and you're going to do that all the way around, and then you've got to have a bit of patience here. You need to leave it to dry. Okay, by the time it's dried, it'll have a glossy top to it, which is great. Okay, so I'm going to set that on one side, and that can carry on drying. So when you've got it dry, you're then going to move on to the next bit. This is how it comes out. All right. So we're going to put our windows on, and I've got some little bits of black card. It can be grey, it can be silver, whatever you want to. I think on the worksheet I put grey or silver for the windows, and we're just going to stick them on. I'm using double-sided tape, but you can use glue, you can use whatever you've got. And we're going to stick those on. There you are. And carry on sticking those on. When you've got them all on, it's a Blue Peter one, this is. Okay, there's one that I've just finished on the other side. And just to finish it off, on a bit of white paper, I've written the word telephone. And I'm just going to stick that across the top. And there's our telephone box. And you can put then your pens, pencils, glue, scissors, whatever you've got. And you've got a pen tidy to remind you of England, Pax Lodge, and our World Centre. Good luck, and I hope you make some good telephone boxes or TARDISes. Right, we're flying off to Mexico now. We're going to Cuernavaca, which is the home of our World Centre there, our cabana. And on the worksheet you can see there's a picture of our cabana at the bottom there, and also the logo. Now if you're lucky enough to go round about Thinking Day to the World Centre, then you might have the opportunity to go to the monarch butterfly sanctuary, and there's hundreds of butterflies there, orange and black, beautiful butterflies, all flying around at this time of year. But we're going to make our own little butterfly, and this can be used as a tag on a parcel. You can use it to smarten a gift wrap up. If you make enough, you can do a mobile that could hang in a window or a child's bedroom. And on the worksheet you'll see I've put a picture of lots of different butterflies, all different sizes. But we're going to start with 2 squares of paper and about 10 centimetres square. You can use ordinary wrapping paper, that's fine, it works very well. Rolls of paper that you can get, you've only got to use a small amount, so 1 roll will go a long way. You'll get hundreds of butterflies out of 1 roll of paper, especially if you do them small. But we're going to do bigger ones. So 10 centimetres, the first square we're going to fold into a triangle. And very carefully, as small as you can make them, we're going to concertina the paper backwards and forwards, and we're moving from corner to corner. So work your way down one side, can you see, just backwards and forwards, and try and get them really sharp. When you get to the end, so you finish with that, okay? You've got that all concertinaed. Turn it over and start again and do the same again on the other side. So we're going to go backwards and forwards, creasing as sharply as you can, backwards and forwards, until you end up with that. And that's going to produce the top wings of our butterfly. Now, to keep it from springing apart, if you've got a peg or a paper clip or just some sort of clip, just clip that together just to keep it apart while we do the bottom wings. And they're out of the other square of paper. So we're going to fold that the opposite way to make rectangle. And then you're just going to cut round the ends, both ends, like that, and the other end. Don't cut right the way round because you still want the fold. So you're just going to cut the 2 ends off like that, just curve them round. And when you open it up, you've got a shape that's similar to a hamburger. That's the easiest way I can tell you, all right? And again, we're going to do exactly the same as we did. Where you've got the fold, you're going to fold your hamburger, little tiny pleats, concertina down the one side, like that. Turn it over and do the same the other side. So backwards and forwards. Get the creases as sharp as you can, because the end result will be better. So backwards and forwards, and you end up with that. All right, so go back to your clip. Now this can be a little bit fiddly, but don't worry. We're going to put the 2 pieces together, the bottom and the top wings, and then either a piece of wire or a piece of thread. I've got a piece of thread, and I've tied that round, and then tie that off in a knot. Can be a little bit fiddly, Use your teeth if you've got to. Dentist won't like me saying that, but still, never mind. Okay, so I've knotted that off there. Now, you can leave if you're going to make a mobile, leave the threads on because they'll help you hang it. But all you do then is fan out the wings, one side, and the wings, the other. And there you go. You can see now why you need to get the folds nice and sharp. And there is your finished butterfly. And he can fly. There's another one that I've done. And you can do them different sizes if you want to. Instead of doing 10 centimetre squares, make them a little bit smaller. Or you can make some huge ones and make them bigger squares and make big butterflies. All right. All the instructions are on the worksheet. And perhaps you could find out a little bit more about our cabana. Enjoy making your butterflies. The World Thinking Day theme for this year is peace, and that is the Thinking Day badge. So we're going to have a go at making some peace doves out of paper and card. Here's the worksheet, and it's got a picture of the finished dove up there. And it's also got the logo of Pax Lodge, which has got a dove in it. Perhaps after you've finished your doves, you can look for other logos that have got doves in them. All over the world, doves have been used as a symbol of peace and love. Perhaps you've been at a wedding where doves have been released, or you've seen them at the Olympic Games or Commonwealth Games where they are released as well. So we're going to start with our template. On the worksheet, there's a little template which I've blown up to roughly the width of an A4 piece of card. So draw around your template, cut it out, and you'll end up with that. Okay. I've just added a little beak with some orange felt pen and an eye. And I've done that on both sides. You'll also need to add a little slot just in the body of your dove, and that's for the wings to go through. Now, young leaders, I want you to be listening a little bit carefully, because a little bit later on I'm going to show you an activity that you could share with rainbows, brownies and guides that would help you with your young leader qualification. So keep listening. Right, so once we've got our template with the beak and the eye both sides, the slot in the body, we're going to take an A5 piece of paper, just an ordinary piece of white paper, and we're going to concertina it backwards and forwards. And it doesn't matter if it's the width or the length of the paper that you concertina. So backwards and forwards until you end up with that. Okay, so you've got a piece of paper that's pleated, and you're going to take that piece of paper all pleated together and push it through that slot you've made to make your dove. The wings can come out so that he can fly, and there you go. There he is, all finished. Now, if you add a piece of thread on the top, you can hang them up as mobiles in the window. All right. Now, young leaders, here we go. If you take an A4 piece of paper and fold it in half, put your hand on and draw round your hand and cut it out, you'll end up with two hands. Now, part of your young leader qualification is learning about the 5 essentials and also doing an activity based on the promise. So what I've done, on my hands, I've put the promise on one side, and on the other side, that's important, I've written out the words of the promise, all along the digits of my hand. You could do it for the 5 essentials. So I've put the 5 essentials on one side, and on the other side I've written the 5 essentials. We work in groups, we have a uniform standard, which is our promise, individual care, decision making, and an enjoyable and balanced programme. Now once you've got that, go back to your template and you're going to stick the hands. I've used double-sided tape, but you can use glue if you want to. Make sure the thumb is pointing towards the tail, and we're going to stick that on the template. Turn it over and put the other hand on the other side. Match it up, match the digits up, and stick that on. Okay, then carefully take a pair of scissors and just gently, very gently, just curve the fingers, both sides, and the thumb, and there you have your finished piece stuff, which could be a promise activity, it could be an activity on the 5 essentials, whatever you want to do. You can still make a mobile out of that. So that's 2 ways of using the Dove template, and I hope you all get your Thinking Day badge on Monday for Thinking Day, and I hope you have an enjoyable time making your doves. Happy Thinking Day, everyone.